Hey everyone, Julia here, and God, it's been ages since I've been in the group, so I apologise, but I wanted to just jump in right now and share with you something that's going on for me right now, because I'm in a study program with a guy called David Nagel. Some of you may well know of David's work. He has an amazing podcast called The Successful Mind, and all of his work is really about how your mind influences your actions. And there's something I've been studying in preparation for an online workshop I've got for him later on today that I really wanted to just bring into your awareness, because I thought this was really interesting. It's about how we can use fear to fuel our focus, because for many of us, when we're in business, we've got fears. We have concerns about things, and those fears can either propel us forward, or in most cases that I see, they sabotage our success. And the typical fears are fears of not being good enough, fears of rejection, fears of being judged, fears of not being liked. And of course, the whole irony is that these are just made up fears. Because actually when we're born, we're only born with two fears, and they are the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. So when we come out the womb, those are the two fears that we have. But what happens over time is that other fears get implanted into us, into our belief system, particularly, as you'll know, up until the age of 7, our subconscious mind can't reject anything, so everything goes in. So we create a whole load of fears that aren't real. And what I really liked about what David was talking about on this was this concept of fear can kind of literally pull us apart from where we want to go and sabotage our efforts, or if we can get it within alignment with where we want to go, it can help propel us forward. And it really reminded me of the leadership model that some of you might be familiar with that I share, where you have a lead mare at the front of a herd of wild horses and a stallion at the back. And the way that they work is the lead mare moves forward and is in the role of finding the food, the water, has the purpose of where you want to go. And actually, the stallion is at the back, behind the herd in the middle, pushing everyone forward and giving everything momentum. So at the front, the lead mare is doing the direction, and at the back, the stallion is doing the acceleration and energy into that. And I really love that as a metaphor for how this fear can fuel focus, because if we are really, really clear on where we're going and what we want to do and what our desire and what our purpose is, and we embrace our fear, note I don't say eradicate our fear. I don't believe you can eradicate fear. But what we do is we embrace it, so it actually helps move us forward in the direction we want to go, rather than pulling us apart and sabotaging us. And I'd love to share this exercise with you, which David shared with us, which I found really insightful. So what I really suggest that you do is, if you grab a pen and a piece of paper and spend, as long as you need, 10-15 minutes writing down all of your fears that you have. And then, what is the impact, the consequence of having that fear? So why do you have it? So let me take an example. I have a fear of reaching out and doing cold calls with people. And what's the trigger for that? That's a trigger of fear of rejection. Because if I reach out to somebody, they might not want to speak to me and I'll feel rejected. In the early days, I had a fear of standing up on stage and speaking, and that was a fear of being judged by other people. So if you list down all of your fears and then list down what's the underlying reason why that's become a fear. And then once you've done that part of the exercise, then I'd really like you to think about what is more fearful than all of those fears. So what is the one thing that you would effectively regret if you didn't do? So what we've got to do is turn these fears into fuel to help propel you forward. So, for example, if your fear of going to your deathbed, having not lived an amazing, glorious life, if that is more compelling to you than the fear of being visible, the fear of being shot down, the fear of being judged, then you can use that fear of not wanting to have this regret in your life as a way to move you forward. And I've just kind of been playing with this over the last few days, and it's really been very interesting to really get to the crux of what is almost, what is more fearful for me than the fears I have? What is the thing I'm going to regret the most if I don't do in my life? And when you've got that kind of energy, then that becomes that push energy that can help move you towards your purpose and the dream and the vision you've got. So it's taken me quite a long time to work with this. It's not something that will necessarily immediately show up to you as to what the solution is for you. But I just wanted to embed that and plant that with you for you guys to think about. So what is that underlying fear that really is going to drive you to the next level, so that how you can harness this fear to help propel you in the direction you want to go. So that's just my thought for today. I'm going to be on David's class this afternoon. We've got a workshop, 5-hour workshop today and tomorrow. The material around forming an elite entrepreneurial mind, which is the name of the program that I'm actually in, has been really interesting to really understand where a lot of my beliefs have come from, where a lot of my paradigms have come from, and to help me bust through some of them. So happy to share some of the teachings that we learned tonight, tomorrow with you in the group. I hope everyone's doing really well. It looks like we're getting towards the end of lockdown here in the UK, with stuff opening up at the weekend. Of course, if anyone just wants to reach out and have a chat and talk through what's going on for them, I'm all to do that. So please do reach out for me, and I hope everyone's having a great time. Thanks so much indeed, everyone. Bye-bye.